Hello and welcome to the Animation Communication Podcast, your source for discussion about animation, film, fandom, and more. So please join your host, I Love Kim Possible a Lot, or KP, and Lauren Kizich, the Abbey Roadie, for today's discussion. If you like what you hear, please remember to support by giving a like, a follow, as well as subscribing to the main I Love Kim Possible a Lot channel on YouTube. Spread the word and keep being a part of a great community. This episode contains some mild adult language.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Animation Communication without Lauren. We're going to do a couple of these depending on how long she'll be on break for her. She's trying to get a job really hard right now, so she doesn't have any time. So with me, I have my friend Autumn, who's in my friend group, and we both love Kim Possible a lot, so this is the Kim Possible episode, or one of them. So, why don't you tell, I always make it, well, not always, but I make a joke that, like, not a lot of people listen to the podcast. I mean, we do decent, but we have, like, 50 views or something on YouTube per episode for the most part, unless it's, like, something important or whatever. But I guess tell the people, who you are and what you do and stuff.
Okay, well, hi. I guess if we're talking MLP fandom-wise, I'm known as Autumn Rush in the fandom. I'm mostly just a casual artist. Don't really upload a whole lot, but just mostly just a fan and viewer of many other peeps. And yeah, I guess I should just say thank you for inviting me onto this podcast. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess you can, I can tell people, like, how this idea came about, but essentially, what I realized is, when I was doing Everfree Northwest, whenever the last one is, I don't know, I realized, well, Autumn was in my friend group anyway, because she just moved to LA when I moved out of LA, so it's a weird transitional time for everyone.
Yeah.
But, she also loves Kim Possible a lot, and she actually won Kim Possible trivia at Everfree. But even though there was a fire drill during it, which was fun.
Yes, fun times.
Yeah, it was cold. I was in my Simba onesie and in like outside a hotel, feeling like a degenerate. You know, it was great.
Oh. Nah, it was a lot of fun though. If anything, like I feel like at least for myself, my 10-year-old self would have been very proud.
I mean, I vicariously lived through my 10-year-old self by, refusing to change my name because I like it. So, I mean, like, but it comes up every once in a while as far as, people, I mean, a lot of people think I voiced something in Kim Possible, like, from just conventions, just reading the convention thing and being like, oh, she must be like the Kim Possible fangirl from one episode one time that I missed, I guess. So, I'm like, sure.
That was a Make-A-Wish kid, right?
Well, there was a couple. But yeah, the two ones in season 4 were Make-A-Wish kids. So.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Now you know there's 2 Make-A-Wish kids in season 4 of Kim Possible. Anyway, so
fun facts.
Fun facts. So we'll be talking about old school Kim Possible days and how information was broken up and that kind of thing, because it's a very weird thing going into MLP and like there's just so many people and they're just like making stuff and there's conventions for just My Little Pony just for one show. It's you don't realize how lucky you are.
Yeah, like I mean, aside from like other fandoms like Star Trek or something like that, for MLP that was definitely kind of unique and kind of unheard of really for that kind of thing.
Okay, so we have a couple of headlines that I didn't just pick out 10 minutes before we started. So we haven't done any of these in a little bit, but I didn't choose the obvious headline, so I have a couple that we'll go over. I guess we'll just start from the top and go down.
Sure.
I don't know anything about this one, but it looked interesting. So I guess Mel Brooks is still alive, and he's wanting to do a play on Blazing. There's I don't know. Blazing. Well, I was just gonna be like Blazing Saddles, and I'm like, no, wait, that was him too. I don't remember. So it's gonna be called Blazing Samurai, and it has a lot of people that are important signed on to it already, including one of the Lion King co-directors and
Yeah, I saw Michael Cera in there. I was like, oh wow, I don't even remember the last time it was that I have actually seen his name in something, but that's really cool. Um,
yeah, I
Also
was.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh yeah, I just was. It was just. It just made me curious because I haven't heard like Mel Brooks make anything in the last like 10, 15 years. I mean, to be honest, I'm not the most updated Mel Brooks enthusiast, whatever. I'm sure he's around doing
Yeah, no,
stuff
same.
like producing and things like that, but he hasn't I don't think he's been making like his own stuff like for a hot second. And if you don't know Mel Brooks, then go to film history school. Mel Brooks, old Jewish guy. He seems really rad in general. He made I guess Blazing Saddles is probably the most famous one off the top of my head. So a lot of parody comedies from like the 80s, early 90s. Well, Blazing Saddles is much older than that, but it's also very funny. Um, if you are hello, if you are curious about his filmography, then you can look it up. But he's funny. The kids say, "Hello, would you like to be on the podcast?" I don't.
Is that Toby?
Yeah, Toby's like crying. Come here.
Oh, poor thing.
Here, let me get him.
He is doing his best, I'm sure.
Hopefully he doesn't make too many background noises but I can't leave him alone. He baby, so he's in the stage where I can't leave him alone for anything. So I guess the podcast people will just have to deal with it. Hello, Toby.
Oh, it's okay. He's our special guest for today,
Toby's the real MVP.
and for every other for every other podcast you've had lately, I'm sure.
Well, this is the only one, so
Okay.
But yeah, Toby is my new dog. He's about 6 months old right now, so he's like I said, he's in a stage where he's not used to being away from me, so I can't really put him anywhere. So
He's a little one.
I did a live stream. I did a live stream. Okay, thank you, Toby. I did a live stream yesterday, and I was like, this will be fine. And Toby's like, no, I want to go outside like 10 times, and I want to talk to people. And it was just like chaos, and I had to leave like every 5 to 10 minutes to entertain him. So hopefully, I took him on 2 walks today, so hopefully he should be too tired to cause too much trouble, but he might like want to explore the house and bark at things at night or whatever doggos do. But anyway, hello Toby. Anyway, so I guess Mel Brooks, cool guy. All right, our next headline. So, Totally Spies is having a movie. I didn't even know they were still making Totally Spies, like, at all. I thought they stopped, like, 10 years ago or something.
I didn't either. Admittedly, I didn't really watch Totally Spies, so I never really did stay current as far as the show's production went. I just know that, like, I think they stopped while back, and I guess fans have been really calling out for a last season, and they finally got it, and really happy for them.
Good for Totally Spies. Now, one time they did I watched it too, but it just seemed too synthetic as far as like a Beverly Hills, like, let's just go shopping because girls like shopping and pretty things and kind of stereotypical.
Yeah.
And like I feel like in Pony or Post Pony, like the whole point of all that was so girls can like different things that are not just shopping and boys and pink shit. So
Right. It felt a little like semi-grown-up Powerpuff Girls to me. I don't know if that's just because of the color scheme
Oh
that they
yeah,
chose for the main characters of that show, but that's what it essentially reminded me of.
I thought it was funner to read it that way, that they were just like the grown-up Powerpuff Girls who like lost their superpowers, and because the hairstyles are similar, even though,
Yeah.
you know, not all the details are correct. Like, Alex's skin color and what was like Sam's eye color, those kind of things. But you know, everything
Yeah.
else was like similar. So you know, they were in witness
Yeah.
protection or something like that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But
One of the few things I do remember about the show, though, that I actually do kind of appreciate looking back on is that I remember that I felt like anytime the main characters weren't, like, in their main spy uniforms, they were always wearing a different outfit in almost every single episode. Like, that was just different from the next one. And, like, you didn't really see that a whole lot in animation. Like, sometimes you would see characters, like, wearing different outfits here and there, but they mostly just kept the same, like, outfit models for most series. But for Totally Spies, they changed it up quite a bit, and, like, I appreciate that a lot from a animation standpoint.
yeah, good for them. I know. I mean, we do in Kim Possible cast, so Kim Possible was also one of the few exceptions where she, I mean, after season 1, she had different. I mean, they were the same, like, you know, 7 to 8 outfits, but they were on a rotation, but they were still like not the same. It was still not the green tank top like every single time, which
Yeah, exactly.
I appreciated.
Yeah.
So, you know,
On occasion, they would give her, like, I guess a ponytail or something like that, but it was still appreciated.
on occasion, on rare occasions, Ron would have a different outfit, but not really most of the time.
It's alright.
Wore the same thing. Ron is the standard. Anyway,
Yes.
so last headline before we get into the main thing that I have. Oh, Cuphead.
Yes.
Cuphead.
The game that pissed me off in the most fun way.
Oh yeah, I never played it, but I just know I appreciate its existence. So if you're new and don't know what Cuphead is basically like a love letter to like 20s style animation. So think like Betty Boop and Felix the Cat and the I think it's the Pfizer brothers, things like that. The competition that Walt Disney like had to deal with when he originally was on the scene, and he was making Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and stuff like that. So
Oh.
specifically more hand-drawn stuff, like I think the original Cuphead, the game Cuphead was all like traditionally animated, like pencil and paper animated, and they, you know, they put it in digital after they did the animation, and you know, that kind of thing. So I imagine this is similar. That might not be the most economic way to do it, but I imagine that it's still, you know, similar to that style. Go ahead.
I mean, yeah, if they considering they were going for that really old school animation style, they definitely succeeded and beyond. Oh, speaking of needy pets, my cat is over here beside me wanting food and pawing at me for it. Hi, Taffy. All right, sorry about that.
That's the mood. Anyway, so we'll start, I guess, with our main topic. So, I guess, why don't you start, telling a little bit about how you got into Kim Possible a lot. So, I guess, Autumn is, like, the only person I've met so far. I mean, that's not on the internet. That's relatively in my friend circle that knows Kim Possible stuff, you know, pretty, like, goodish. I don't know how to describe it. Pretty goodish.
Well enough. Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, same here. Because I know when I was still watching it, when I was 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, I didn't really know anybody else in real life who actually knew the show. Well, of course they had heard of it, but like they didn't really watch it, especially as retroactively as I was, for sure. So yeah, you're definitely kind of a first for me as far as meeting someone else who really liked the show to that extent. But yeah, I guess as far as how I got into the show itself, to be honest, I couldn't really tell you exactly how. I just know that I probably found 1 or 2 episodes on TV. somewhere around season 1, I think, is where when I got into it. But yeah, I ended up falling in love with it, and it just kind of went from there. As far as online stuff goes, that was around the time, I think, where I was also just getting on the computer a lot, just sort of exploring the internet as much as everybody else was kind of doing at the time. Eventually, I just ended up finding the Ron Stoppable's Neat Page site, and from there was also a forum that was attached to the website. Went on there. I think that was also my first exposure to online forums and talking to other people online as well. So that was definitely something. It definitely caught my eye in the fact that it was sort of like the central hub of the KP fandom at the time, and it was from everything from, like, you know, again, that's where kind of everybody was going, even design wise, like it was very catered to Kim Possible fans. And yeah, I didn't really talk in the forum much myself. I was just more of a lurker than anything else, but it was kind of, again, it was just kind of the main place that people would go for KP related stuff, especially when season 4 got renewed, and people would post like news related stuff regarding to it, or spoilers. At one point, the creators Mark and Bob joined, and Steve Loader as well, and they would sometimes hop on there and talk to fans, which was also really neat at the time. And yeah, not much else to really tell from that, honestly. Just kind of. Sorry, cat hopped on the table.
It'd be like that. Luckily, Toby is just kind of eyeing me from the bed, so he's kind of calming down, which is good. Any pet owners out there? I mean, something I realized, because I do this, but I realized it was a good idea, is there's like dog, like not sound effects, but dog catered sleeping and calming like playlist music on YouTube, and that's been helping a lot, especially when it's nighttime.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, you know, I think from what I've remembered, Tabby's super nice, but, like, you know, in case he's ever, like,
yeah, he's still hopping on the keyboard as we speak.
All right.
Okay, I kicked him off.
All good. Okay, I will do, like, a little bit of my spiel, and then we'll move on, and we'll start talking about the forum and things. So, I talked about this, like, years and years ago on the video where I talk about why I decided to keep my username, even though I do pony stuff, and now I do pony stuff and some other things. Well, it's more like I do other things and pony stuff every once in a while. I made a Twitter post maybe like a week ago, because I was getting frustrated that people were speaking on my behalf and being like, oh, KP's not in the fandom anymore because she makes Disney videos, and I'm just like, aren't I allowed to, like,
okay.
Isn't it my choice if I'm in the fandom? It's not your perception, but I think I think a lot of that is just like, oh, KP just doesn't do pony only cons anymore, and I'm just like, well, pony cons don't have any money, so, you know, I don't want to, like, you know, I want to, like, I like to vent and I like to keep busy, and it's hard to keep busy when, you know, an event doesn't have as many people as it used to anyway. So I still do pony stuff. I still will do a pony video as I feel like it. You know, Discord is still, you know, my muse, my flame as far as that market. But anyway, so Kim Possible. How I work is, if there's something that is interesting to me that makes me contemplate a character's really, like the writers, I feel like, do something really, really smart or really, really complex as far as framing characters or character arcs, then there's a chance that I will get, you know, I will think about it constantly and get obsessive about it, and here we are. So that happened with the Kim Possible, so the drama movie. I watched Kim Possible casually up to that point, and then I watched So the Drama, and then I was like, wait, kind of spoiler alert if you haven't seen So the Drama, even though it's like fucking, like, at least almost 15 years old at this point, something like that. It's on Disney Plus. Go get it.
Yes.
Go get it. I mean, watch the rest of the series first, but, you know, it's there. When I was doing, well, side note, when I was doing my we were rewatching Kim Possible with my roommate, or I was watching Kim Possible with my roommate because she'd never seen it the whole way through, and she was like, oh, when So the Drama was coming up, I was just like, I don't need to see the Drama. I've seen So the Drama more than any movie I've ever seen in my life. And she's like, oh well, you don't have to stay to watch it. And I'm like, oh, I'll stay. It's fine. Anyway, so I mean, I've still seen So the Drama at least like
50 million times,
300 to 400 times, something like that, in the course of my Kim Possible allotness. But anyway, so the thing that hooked me was like the Kim and Ron relationship, specifically Kim's point of view, because Ron's point of view was pretty played out in the movie. I mean, jealous, realizes possessive over a girl that is in his life. Oh wait, maybe he likes her. Oh wait. But I feel like besides, like, Kim's realization of, like, oh, she might want to date Ron is very fast. And they try to make up with it with the Could It Be song, which is the song that's at the end of the movie. But I really wish there was more, I mean, even now, like, on hindsight, I wish there was more, like, Kim talking about it and Kim, like, some more character, like, oh, I never thought of Ron that way until he said he liked me, and then I, whatever. So, but I was, like, my point of view, too, is just, like, it's hard for me to, like, see where Kim is coming from, because Ron's kind of a scrub. So, I mean, it's true. So,
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. He was at least, like, sweet, and he was always there for Kim, and, just a very loyal friend all around. I genuinely, like, really appreciated their friendship even before they started dating. But though it's kind of funny to me that you said that you actually didn't really get into it until So the Drama, especially for, like, the Kim and Ron relationship, because I was rooting so hard for it all the way from, like, into season 1, and just when So the Drama came out, I was like screaming, we did it practically.
We did it. I mean, it's something that was obvious, but, like, when you're 12 and you don't know what shipping is and you don't know that that's kind of the intention the whole time. But yeah, I got into it retroactively after that, so then I was like, now I need to watch every possible episode ever. And and that's what I did. And it was like a shitty time to get into it because, the show ended.
Right.
But, I didn't realize that at the time. But.
Well, at least you weren't dying for, like, 2 seasons before the hand for that to happen.
Oh, but, if, like, waiting for the season 4 announcement, because, like, I think, like, if like, season 4 was the godsend season, I think if it didn't happen, a lot of things, for me personally would be different as far as, like, oh, I like it, but nothing ever happened, and, well, that was great. Good ride.
Yeah, awesome, cool. That'll be something to look back at in, like, 10 years from now and just think, oh, that was cool, and then not think of it again for a while.
So, but yeah, season 4 was the first season I was, like, gung-ho about it and, keeping up with the episodes as they aired and the whole thing.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. But, the break between season 3 and season 4 was, like, torturous. It was, like, what? Like, a year, 2 years between season 3 and season 4. I was just like...
Yeah, because, I mean, they didn't even know if a season 4 was even gonna happen, so, like, half of that time was just basically everybody hoping it would happen, and then Disney was like, okay, well, we'll let it happen, and just went from there. Yeah, really exciting time, that, honestly.
Yeah, it's debated whether it was, like, the Save Kim Possible campaign, so briefly, because that's not what the episode is about, but briefly there was, like, back in, like, 2005, there was, like, we need to send emails to Disney and, tell them to, like, renew the show and stuff like that. So there was that,
yeah.
And there was also, I think, from what I read, there was also, like, it was really popular in Germany for some reason.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you knew that. But anyway, and so...
It sounds familiar. Like, I remember for a time after the show ended, there were box sets that were distributed from Germany that came out for like the entire series.
Mm-hmm.
But again, because it was only being distributed in Germany, like it took a lot at the time for anybody else overseas to try to buy it if they did, or at least I think that's what happened. I might be misremembering on that, but yeah, so I guess I kind of like knew that somewhat in hindsight to an extent, but yeah, I didn't really exactly have a perfect picture as far as like how big it really was over there, but okay.
Yeah, so yeah, what happened is like this is all allegedly, so we don't know either way. Like I think it's the first one. I think the fans wanted it because that was kind of alluded to a lot, but there was also like rumorly like a German contract that said there had to be 4 seasons. So Disney was like, "Oh, well, I guess we got to do another season now."
Oh, huh.
So,
Okay.
but well, I do have something to say before we actually get into the thing. When I met Christy, I've met Christy once so far, um, and she's very nice. We talked about collabing, but it never happened, obviously. But,
Right.
I've lived to collab, but anyway, she gave me a bit, like, I guess the Save Disney Shows guys was up the convention, and he gave her business card, and she gave it to me. It was nice, like, and there was someone, I guess, on hindsight, I realized this because he posted about it, but he was like, "Oh, I met KP and KP," and he was asking Christy questions and knew who I was, but not but it was like Kim Possible questions, and it was like, "Oh, I got this," and she was like, he asked her like, "Oh, how did Kim Possible become Kim Possible? Like, how did she start doing missions and stuff?" And Christy was describing the plot for A Stitch in Time, and I was just like, "Oh, it's actually in A Stitch in Time. It's actually in season 2. Go watch." Like, I knew, like, where to direct this person to find the information he seeks. So anyway, yeah, anyway, so it's probably the first one. So, but yeah, and then season 4 came out, and it was great, and everyone loved it. I think for the most part, and yeah. So, back to the forum stuff. So, what Autumn was describing is back in the day. We're gonna do a lot of back in the day and Petridge Farm remembers kind of memes. So, back in the day, there was so we didn't have Discord, we didn't have Skype, or people didn't really use Skype. I don't think in 2000 like
I don't
5
think
or
so.
6.
Yeah, the most I remember, I think that was when Facebook might have just started becoming a little prominent. Otherwise, everybody was probably using MySpace, but other than that, we didn't have Twitter, we didn't have Instagram. Like, social media was not, at all like what it is today. Like, it was almost non-existent
Yeah.
in a way.
Like, I know Twitter was around, but I don't think anyone was really using it as religiously as they were in now, I guess, in now.
Yeah, between like 2004 and 2007, maybe.
I was like, where'd Toby get funny? He's next to my Kim Possible pillow because he knows how to be on theme. Anyway. So,
Go Toby.
Go Toby.
So proud of you, Toby.
You did it. I'm training you well. Anyway, so, but, I don't know if anyone knows what a website forum looks like, but, that's where people had to go. And it was only like, I'd say like a fraction of the My Little Pony fandom, as far as people there. Like, they did start someone did try to start a Kim Possible con in like 2010-ish, I think, something like that. Do you remember this?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I think this was long after I had stopped visiting the forums, honestly. So I did not stick around for too long after the show had ended.
Oh, okay. But yeah, someone tried to make a Kim Possible convention, but people weren't registering for it, so he had to cancel it. Nicole Dublock mentioned it, and it was just like, oh right, yeah, I remember that vaguely. But I was gonna go to that, and then it got canceled because no one was buying tickets. So.
Yeah.
It'd be like that sometimes. So, you kids don't realize how lucky you have to have just conventions where you can talk about the thing that you like. So what I would have given for Kim Possible convention.
Yeah.
We can
Or at
dream.
least, like, something that, like, affiliated with it. Like, if there's, like, some, like, big, like, Impossible event at, like, an adjacent Comic-Con or something like that.
Yeah. They are doing some of those now because Will and Christy do conventions now, but you know, every once in a while when they get booked to a convention, they do like a Kim Possible con and or a Kim Possible panel and they talk about it and stuff like that.
Uh,
So, but Will doesn't remember anything. So it's Christy remembers everything for the most part, but Will is just like, yeah, I'm here. I was Ron Stoppable, and
oh,
I mean he's not as bad as John Delancey, but he's still kind of um, when I met Will, I was like, oh, I'm a YouTuber, and he's just like, and stuff like that, and he's just like, oh, that's great, kid. Well, here's an autograph for free because you gave me a Ron Doodle, and I'm like, okay, well, you know,
I guess that, like, at the end of the day, it was kind of just a job for him. Like, it was, I'm sure it was, like, special to him to some, like, extent. Maybe not as much as Christy. I could
yeah,
be
that's the
wrong on
vibe I
that,
get.
but,
I mean, like Will mentioned, like, and I mean, he doesn't know the show as well as Christy does, but he still knows, I think, a decent amount. But I remember, like, he mentioned that he didn't watch the live action Kim Possible movie, which was a good idea because he was just like those aren't our characters kind of thing. Like
yeah.
it's not us, and I'm just like, oof. You
Yeah, I
predicted the
did enjoy
future.
the quick promo that they did for the quote unquote casting auditions one. That one
Yeah.
was really funny and cute. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah, well, you know, I think a lot of executives who didn't really feel out the market made a emotional decision that they were like, let's do Kim Possible because people want a live action Kim Possible, and I'm just like, yeah, but
Did
not.
we?
Did we really though?
If we're being honest, did we really?
I think if it was more loyal to the show and not like on a Disney Channel, like, or a stunk of Disney Channel, like trying to promote, like trying to be a fame thing for the girl and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I think like it was, you know, if it was cast with people that if, cast with like people that other people cared about, like notable actors and not just, you know, whatever, then I think it would have been more fun. But because
Maybe. I mean, I didn't really mind, like, the casting or anything. It was just more that I really do kind of feel like there are some things when it comes to animation you really just cannot translate all that well into live action. Especially, like, when you're only given so much of a budget, as I'm sure the live action KP movie did. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of think that, like, with that movie in particular, like, it just was not. I'm not really sure how to describe it. Like, not to say that it was, like, doomed from the start, but it just, there are just some things that, aren't just translated very well into 3D or live action. And KP, I feel like, was sort of one of those things. It was just better to have been left, like, maybe 2D at the very least.
well, I mean, at the end of the day, that's the problem. It's a suspension of disbelief problem because, like, you know, you can believe that this cartoon character is fighting bad guys and stuff like that, but can you really believe an actual 16-year-old is fighting off, like, 25, 30-year-old, like, woman who's much taller than her? Like,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
really. um, so, you know, it was kind of a hard sell. So, like things that are
yeah.
like, and I felt bad because the director was a huge fanboy of the show and was like putting Easter eggs in the backgrounds and stuff like that. And like I pointed one out, and he's like, "Oh, I was waiting for someone to point that out." Essentially, and I was like,
Uh,
"Yeah." But well, quickly, what I pointed out was at the very end. So, spoiler alert if you care about the movie, the live action movie. Baby white Draken or whatever is reading a book about teen slang, and what he did is he replicated the teen slang book from the summer.
oh, from the actual series, yeah,
Yeah, from
yeah.
I can't remember the name.
The Golden Years, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. He
Yeah.
replicated it from that, and I was just like, I picked it up immediately, and I was just like, oh, I get it, and I'm like, and you can look at it if you want to do it. It's on my Twitter, like somewhere, like from 3 years ago or something.
Aw.
So, so he like, and he knew the characters super well, and it was really good about giving direction. But like, I agree with Christy. It probably should have been a woman director and not just like a fanboy.
Right.
I mean, like at the end of the day, Kim Possible's about feminism and all that good stuff. But anyway, back to the thing. So, but yeah, um, we had this forum, and basically it was about some guy, I guess, started it who was role playing Ron. So the forum
Yeah.
had all of
Yeah.
Ron's jersey colors or whatever. I was too late to really see what was going on with the Ron cosplayer, but that was kind of the gist. So
Yeah, essentially he would always go in there and he would roleplay as Ron. His username and everything was Ron Stoppable. So like anytime he had anything to post, he would do it like in the same like kind of dialogue style as Ron to make it seem a little bit authentic. I don't know if anybody outside of maybe the mods really knew who this guy was, but yeah, essentially he would just go on there, play as Ron. He would mostly just talk like with announcements and everything, and maybe like hold some events, but and interact with people on occasion. But yeah, that was pretty much his shtick there for a bit. Which at the time I kind of thought it was a little bit fun. I thought it was pretty in character. So props to the guy, whoever he was, Ron Stoppable on the RS forums.
I bet someone will send this like, oh, they were talking about Ron Stoppable in 2022. Oh,
Yeah.
I feel old. You
Just
know
a
who
little
Ron
bit.
Stoppable is from.
Yes.
But anyway, it's the forum still exists if you still want to, like, it's a ghost forum, but you can still look around.
Yeah.
I think some people still comment, but it's just like in the stupid shit kind of things. Um, so yeah, it was called Ron Stoppable's Really Neat Page.net, or Ron Stoppable's Really Neat Forum. I think it was a page and then it was forum. So I'm not. Do you know how it got popular?
Not really. I think it was really just the main place for the KP fandom because it was just so catered to KP in general. Because you would get on the site, and he even had different features on the site. I don't remember what most of them were, except for I remember he had like something called like the Ron reports, I think, to where he would just write like these little articles or excerpts as Ron, and I remember them being kind of entertaining. I don't really remember a whole lot of, like, if you asked me what any single one of them was about, I really couldn't tell you anymore. But there was that, and then if you got on the forum, like, even just, like, the way it was designed, it was very, like, Ron-centric, because, like, the color theme was, like, his jersey, you know, the black, red, white, and yellow theme. And then it was also just kind of organized back in the day too, because everything was just separated between, like, you know, actual like episode discussion and character discussion or anything show wise, and then it had its own sections for like fan related stuff like fan fiction, fan art, AMVs, all that, and then even just like a small board for random stuff like little games you could play on forums, or member chats and stuff like that. So again, it was just very catered to the KP fans. I think it was basically the best that you could find for the fandom as far as a place to hang out with other Kim Possible fans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, the main like I guess Equestria Daily is still the place people go for pony.
Yeah. I mean, it was
That's happening.
basically yeah, in a way, it was basically a Equestria Daily for Kim Possible. I would say the main difference is that Equestria Daily didn't really have a forum exactly, for one, and then two, I feel like Equestria Daily was also more for like news-centric stuff. The
Yeah.
forum was really just for chatting, and we would update ourselves if like anybody found any kind of news article or stuff for upcoming episodes, especially for when season 4 was coming out. So really just stuff like that, really.
Mm-hmm. I guess we can talk a little bit about what it was like during season 4, because I think that was the highlight of everyone's. Because the show was renewed, and everyone was super invested in it, and normal people were just like, oh, they're doing another Kim Possible. So
Yeah.
what I learned is through my KPing on the internet is the main reason it didn't get renewed is because new executives came in and they wanted to start their own like show and kind of move on from Kim Possible. So it could have gotten renewed, but and that show was Phineas and Ferb. So
Well, not only that, but back then Disney was really infamous for having this
right.
no more past 65 episode rule, because they had that for every single one of their shows at the time, like Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven, every other show they had at the time. And what's funny, if some people didn't already know this, but if you even watched the drama movie, there were little hints from the producers and the creators that they would leave kind of saying like no on the 65 rule thing. Like if you look in the scene where Ron is like contemplating on telling Kim how he feels, if you look on his mirror, there's actually a sticker on there that says no on 65, and that's what that is referring to, is that rule.
Yeah. So it was basically, I think it was like something about having enough, or having a complete rotation for syndication. Syndication, if you don't know what that is basically a fancy word that says like enough episodes to put on rotation when they were airing on Disney Channel, or when the rights to the shows were sold to other networks to air. Like, I mean, they would still stay in the Disney family unless they were out of country for the most part, but like if Kim Possible was playing like on ABC Family or Toon Disney and all that stuff, like how often they would go on rotation as far as playing it. So essentially the thinking is like we'll make enough episodes to satisfy the syndication requirements that we need, and then we'll just move on to the next thing because kids are stupid and fickle and don't like things essentially. So Kim Possible is the first show that, I mean, I think That's So Raven ended up getting renewed too, and now we have,
they did.
Yeah, now that we got Raven's House or whatever, I don't know if that's still going. But Kim Possible was the first one that got renewed, and Phineas and Ferb like blew Kim Possible away. Unfortunately, I don't like to think about that, but at the time it was a big deal. So not to brag or anything, but yeah, it was just really an interesting time, I guess, back in 2007, and just like I'm trying to think, it's just different than My Little Pony, because it was similar watching like My Little Pony as far as when new episodes were airing, and but there were no like live streams of the episodes or something. You had to watch them on TV, or just like sometimes they would get uploaded to YouTube. Like I remember like Graduation specifically got leaked on YouTube like a week early, and I don't know how that happened. I still don't know how that happened. I waited to watch it though when it premiered on the TV, because I felt like that was the right decision to make, and that was the right decision to make. I mean, I don't think it would have really mattered.
You're better than me. I was too impatient.
I mean, like, well, I was just about to say, like, I don't think it really, at the end of the day, I don't think it really mattered, but, I wanted to, like, I kind of knew that this was probably going to be the end, and I wanted to, enjoy it, and, watch. They had a Kim Possible marathon on Disney Channel before they aired Graduation, and I kind of watched parts of that, or the majority of that. But, it was a different experience for me, and feel free to jump in, obviously, because, for Pony, it's always been about Discord, and all the other stuff is great and fun, but, like, that's not what I'm passionate about, and that's why I'm not, like, religiously covering. Well, one of the reasons I'm not religiously covering Generation 5 is there's no Discord so far, and, so, like, we can speculate 5 million times where, when, or how that's gonna happen when the show happens, but, I will obviously talk more about Pony if Discord shows up, but so far it's a mystery.
Sure.
But for Kim Possible, like, I mean, Kim and Ron were like, I mean, Draken was the super main draw, if I'm gonna be honest, but as far as comedy and just having fun with the episodes, but Kim and Ron were still enjoyable to watch, and so it was like I'd never had that experience, so like getting excited for every single episode because I like these characters so much. So but yeah, I was like, after like a couple episodes of season 4, I'm like, okay, when's Draken coming back? Because that's like when shit gets shit gets like 10 times more funnier, and luckily it wasn't too
Right.
long of a
Well,
wait. But go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, well, you're in luck because Draco and Shigo, for the most part, were the main villains of the show compared to everybody else, and I think they were also a production favorite too among the people who actually worked on the show, and I think it also helped that like both John DiMaggio and Nicole Sullivan, from what I've heard in stories, they were also quite the kick as well, and just a numerous reasons to basically have Draken and Shigo in the show at any point.
Yeah, and they were also like from a logistics standpoint, they were also really easy to book. Like from what I remember is the voice actress for Dee and Amy was on Desperate Housewives, which was a really big thing at the time, a really big show. So they were like, "Oh, we can't really use Dee and Amy that often because what they were if they couldn't get the voice actor, they just not use that character." So
Right.
versus like recasting and the whole thing, because like that's not let's like try to avoid that if possible. And she was on Desperate Housewives, and they were just like, "Well, we can't use her that often," so she was in I think 3 episodes total. She didn't have any speaking lines in graduation, but she was there.
Yeah.
She was sure there. But
Greg Doug Monkey Fist
yeah, fucking crazy lady.
Oh.
I was well, spoiler for an episode. But anyway, if you I was we were watching that episode, I was waiting for the Gorilla Fist episode. I was waiting for the twist, and I was like, "Are you ready for this?" Like my roommate, I was like, "Are you ready for this?" And I'm just like, "What am I ready for?" I'm just like, "Just watch." And then like Dee and Amy takes off her mask, and like her mouth was like on the floor.
Oh, that. Oh my god, that episode will always kill me for a lot of reasons, but that was definitely one of them. I remember it's just like the most best way you can just like put this character back in, even for just a brief moment.
Yeah, but well, I mean, I think I said in the video that we're doing more Kim Possible videos. Imagine that. But I said there, and I'll say it that I think the most important solidified thing from season 4 that I I feel like season 4 is worth it is Draco and Chigo being canonically couple kissing gay. Also, I thought Kim and Ron are great, but like after a whole season of it, you kind of get used to it. So it's just like now we have two, like I made a joke from a other video where we used the SpongeBob meme. It's like, oh no, a canon couple, and then like how could it be worse? But it's like the bubble meme, like with the paint. And then Patrick's like, oh, I know, 2 canon couples, and SpongeBob's like, no.
I will say, I honestly did not expect the Draken and Shigo at the end. I think maybe because like I wasn't really an avid shipper of the two, but
Yeah, near the end of the season 4, I was just like, okay, now we like let's have our cake and eat it too. But I think it was I mean, it's either Lauder or Lauder, but I think Steve Lauder was just like, I call him Lauder, was just like, you can't make Higo happen, so it's the best we can do.
there you go.
Hey, and I think it kind of, I mean, like even though it was a fast season, I think it worked well with the whole theme of Draken saving the world, and like things falling into place after that, after he kind of had a success. So
Yeah.
Good for Draken.
Maybe not a take over the world success, but hey, you saved the world and you did good.
You had
You
a
did a
victory.
good.
You had a victory.
Attaboy.
Attaboy. Pat.
Oh yeah, so before the drama aired, like I think this was like maybe midway towards the end of season 3, Disney held a big show marathon where fans could go online onto their Disney Channel site and actually vote for their favorite episodes. And the way that they held this marathon was that they actually showed the episodes in order of how many votes those got in. So basically, whichever episode was the last one to air, that was the number one fan favorited voted for episode. ended up being Emotion Sickness, which that was the episode where Kim and Shigo both get hit with a device called the Modulator, and as the name pretty much directly implies, it changes their moods, and about halfway through the episode, it changes to love, and fast forward a little bit, Kim ends up falling in love with Ron. She kisses him. Big moment. Really awesome. But yeah, again, that was the fan favorite right there. And apparently that episode was reportedly created as a test to see how fans would react to Kim and Ron potentially being in a relationship. And with the episode voted as number 1, it actually it supposedly gave the creators more confidence in their decision to officially make Kim and Ron a couple by the end of So the Drama. So it was just it was a really cool, magical moment kind of thing. I actually remember going online to the site myself and voting for that episode several times. I'm pretty sure a good portion of those final votes were probably mine. But yeah, I think the marathon, it took place over a good few days, I want to say, because I could be not remembering correctly, but I want to say they actually showed every single episode that had already aired up until that point. So it took like a few days for them to air the episodes in that order. But yeah, Motion Sickness ended up being that very last one, voted number 1. Hence all the screaming that took place when I was watching this marathon. Was like, hell to the fucking yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and then I think a few months later, or at least like half a year later, that was when So the Drama aired and just kind of sealed the deal right there.
Yeah, I mean, I do think they shouldn't have, like, had the first Kim and Ron kiss be under, like, the influence, essentially. Like, I feel like that kind of is a little weird, but I also, think it's cute, too.
Funnily enough, you could actually argue, and for both Kim and Shigo in this case, is that the Modulator didn't really create emotions as so much as it enhanced emotions. So in order for Kim to have fallen in love with Ron at that moment, she had to have already had at least some of those feelings already budding at the time.
Oh, I like that. I like that interpretation. I'm gonna steal that. All right. I think that's about it as far as old Kim Possible days. Oh, we can talk about Kim Possible Fan World really quick.
Oh, yeah, so that, I don't exactly remember what the purpose of the site was for whoever the wonderful person who created it was. I think it was just because at the time, this was before, it was a lot easier to share GIFs and images online. Like, for the most part, everybody just used PhotoBucket. And with the KP Fan World site, we mostly just had screen captions, or not captions, but captures of every single episode. And it was basically almost like frame by frame. Mm-hmm. For this site too, I think it was just like a fun resource that you could go on, and if you needed like an image from an episode, well, there it was, and just right there, so easily available. Other than that, I don't really remember too much about that. Again, just a fun resource for people to go on there if they really needed to, and they could easily share from that site too, instead of having to go on Google Images or PhotoBucket or whatever. So it was just like a neat little extra KP resource fan site, if you will.
Yeah, it was. I used it a good bit, probably even more than the Ron Stoppable page as far as that. But it was like, it also had news in the headline, and it was like very. I mean, it still exists. I'm pretty sure it still exists, but it's...
Yeah. I actually found a link to it the other day. I was like, oh, hello.
Hello, old friend. But yeah, it was, I don't know if you remember, like, one of the fun games you would play is, like, screen cap the screenshots, or, like, put captions.
Oh, yeah, I do. Oh, wow. Yeah, I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, rip. So, it's just... It's kind of weird to think about, like, how, small amount of people kind of can influence the show just based on that board. Because, I think it has 14,000 people total, but, like, active people, there was only probably, like, 300 to 400. So, at the time, now there's, like, none.
Yeah. Though it does kind of make you wonder what would have happened if KP was airing like around this time instead of back in mid 2000s, like how much more expansive it would have been, especially like with an online presence.
Yeah, I think it would have, give Phineas and Ferb a run for its money, because I think Phineas and Ferb really benefited a lot from especially because it went on for so long, but benefited a lot from, the more expansive internet and, all that fun stuff. I mean, Phineas and Ferb is a great show. Like, if there's one show to replace my favorite show ever, I think it's a pretty good contender. It's not just like something like stupid live actiony. But anyway, but yeah, I think that's something we'll be able to tell more with the Proud Family spinoff that's coming out like in a month or so. I really think if the Kim Possible live action movie wasn't a thing, we'd be getting a Kim Possible Disney Plus thing by now.
Yeah.
Because we already got Phineas and Ferb, and Kim Possible was more popular than Proud Family for sure. So,
Yeah.
I think the Proud Family is a political move, honestly, to kind of be like, we love all the cultures here at Disney, with all the bad news things that's been happening in the last couple of years, which is fine.
I do.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I do feel like Proud Family, like it's definitely like we're at a point in time to where I feel like a show like Proud Family is definitely very important right now. Like it'd be cool if we got like the same reboot treatment for KP, but I feel like if we were to kind of like pick between the two, I think Proud Family would, or I think it'll do like itself a little bit of justice right now.
Yeah, and but I think I think the majority of people's thinking is, the live action movie has kind of left a bad taste in people's mouths, and it also did very, 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 very poorly.
Yeah.
The worst aired Disney Channel live action movie ever. So that's what I mean. Rip. So that's why they released all those shorts on, the YouTube page, which I think was supposed to be aired, as a short or something like that. Like Kim, like the shorts where the live action actors are at the library and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I saw those.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, I thought this was over. Oh, they must have just shot in advance, and they did somewhere to put them. But I guess we'll see what the future will hold as far as that. I mean, creatively,
well, it does.
Go ahead.
It does make me wonder, like, if KP were to be rebooted in the same fashion, like, do you think like they would just like pick it up from where it left off, or like do you think it would just be kind of reformed in some fashion like the Proud Family is right now?
I mean, well, the Proud Family, the Proud Family reboot is kind of both for the most part. It's like it's picking up where it took off, but it's also reforming it for like being made in like modern age with like not with modern animation resources like Toon Boom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think the changes to it are slight enough that it's not the worst possible thing. Like now they can do lighting and things like that. So I think it would be similar. Like I think we'd still have a college Kim Possible, and it wouldn't just be like again starting over. Because I think what Disney has learned, at least one of the good things hopefully they've learned from all this, is that people like these original characters, and rebooting them is not what people want. Like I don't know if you noticed, but like they released, for context, they released like a Kim Possible, all the Disney Adventure Kim Possible comics, and like a super comic like for the live action movie, and on the back they're just like, oh yeah, see your favorite characters before they return to the big screen, and get rid of them. Just like, oh, it's not the same though. You can't like the thinking was just like, oh, this will make everyone happy, and people will want to see this, and it will make all the fans happy. And I'm just like, no, we don't. Like, we want original cast. We want a continuation of some sort. We don't want we want this. You could have asked.
I mean, they tried. They really did.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day,
it's no one's fault. It was just a bad decision. It should have been more. It should have been more asked around generally as far as what people thought about a live action Kim Possible. But, you know, they could have asked me. I've been here the whole time, but whatever. um, so, but yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. You know, I like creatively, I've always had my own ideas for these characters that kind of fall into something similar to what we're talking about. So, you know, I guess we'll just see if I get there, you know, professionally. We'll see what happens. But, you know,
One day.
yeah, one day. That's like my big magnus opus dreams that I don't really talk about that often on a public forum. But anyway, Disney, please hire me.
Hire both of us.
Hire both of us. Hire all you know. But you know, like I think, you know, I'm kind of either way. If it got renewed, like it'd be great and it could be exciting, and you know that would be like the main channel content for like however long that happened. But you know, I don't. It doesn't need to happen either. You know, if it's not gonna be like done right. You know, I'd rather it not be done than, you know, at least like the live action thing is its own continuity and it doesn't like ruin the original show at all. So
yeah, I think that's how I'd feel about it too. Like I'm happy. I'm fine if it doesn't. If it does, like I'd be kind of happy, but at the same time I'd be very skeptical. Like, okay, well let's just see how this goes and go from there, I suppose.
Because yeah, like I said in the original review for the live action movie, like the original creators wrote the script, so it wasn't like they were brought back on the whole thing, but it still was not something that turned out great. So
yeah.
You know, it's not only their input that is something that needs to be continued. So, all right, I guess we can wrap. So, if you're new to the podcast, we're on all the podcast things: Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud. I think that's all of them. And YouTube, obviously, if you want to listen to it on YouTube. So we'll upload whenever. We're in the kind of whatever period at this point, as I guess I get guest hosts and, you know, we have things to talk about and that kind of thing. I still really like the podcast. I'm interested in continuing it. You know, it just all depends on, you know, like figuring out next steps and, you know, figuring out Lauren's stuff and all that. But thanks for coming, Autumn. Did you have a good time? Oh, and where can people find you if they want to stalk you?
Stalk me, yay. They can find me on Twitter, though I think my handle actually has changed since then. You can find me both on Twitter and Instagram as Starlet is I with a period in between. So starlet.is.I. And I have a little anime avatar, maybe like 100 or so followers on both accounts, something like that. So yeah, that's about where you can find me.
You can watch her. You can ask your Kim Possible questions. Woo. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, Kim Possible themed podcast discussions in general is not a bad idea. So, you know, if you guys want to hear more Kim Possible or, you know, reaction to specific episodes, you know, let us know in the comments or whatever, and we'll do it. I guess we'll get Autumn back and we'll talk about things Kim Possible a lot. Woo. So, my only other outro things are, you know, make sure you're subscribed to the main channel, make sure you do all the analytical, like, comment on the videos, that kind of thing. Art school's kicking my butt, so it's hard for me to create content, in the pace that I would like to go at, essentially, because I like to keep busy and that kind of thing. So,
hey, just throw in the word college in there, and I think everybody hopefully understands.
Yeah, I mean, our college specifically, too, is just, it's not hard, but it just, like, takes so much time. Jesus Christ.
Lots of energy.
Yeah, or, you know, like, especially, you know, working on animation assignments just takes forever. But, and, you know, if you want to, there's tons of podcasts backlog if you like this format. If you never listened to it before, you know, whatever the case, then have fun. I doubt you've listened to every episode ever, so woo. All right, thanks again, Autumn, and I guess...
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and we'll look forward to the next yeah, I guess I'll talk to the audience next time on the next podcast, or back in the past if you listen to ones from the before time. So, thanks again, everyone, and have a good day, night, evening, whatever time it is in your time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Animation Communication on YouTube, Spotify, or your favorite podcast provider. We are really hoping this show makes a difference in how people view animation and media, as well as giving and providing advice for people all over the world who like or want to join the animation or media industry. If you liked what you heard, please remember to subscribe and rate those 5 stars, as well as tell your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our main YouTube channel, I Love Kim Possible a Lot, and turn those notifications on. My name is Scribbler, and you have been listening to Animation Communication.